I'm Sharaz Zuberi.
And I'm Mohammad Ali Zuberi. And we're the co-founders and co-inventors of the world's first and only ultra premium luxury ice chest cooler, which is now patented. And what we strongly believe is the greatest cooler ever created.
Through research and development, we've designed our cooler to include unique design features that you won't find anywhere else. So without further delays, we introduce to you the ZUBI Cooler. As we can see, the ZUBI Cooler has absolutely unique and beautiful styling. It was constructed using the rotational molding process for added strength and durability. Now, let's get into some of these design features. Now let's start with the top of the cooler. We've added a continuous lip all around the lid of the cooler. Now this serves to protect any items you might place on top of the cooler, such as keys, wallet, cell phone, from sliding off in case the cooler is in motion. We've included these 4 drainage slots on the top of the cooler so water won't be pooling up on the lid. Now these also serve as tie-down slots in case you want to strap a seat cushion or maybe even a non-slip casting platform, items that we will be offering in the near future. Next off, we have here the cam action latches. This is completely different than the standard T-shaped rubber latches that come pretty much every premium ice chest cooler today. You really have to struggle and fight with those to both open and close, and it could be a real hassle. We've eliminated that. With the cam action latches, it's as easy as just using one finger to both open and close. You're using minimum effort to exert maximum force upon the cooler. It's the best latches on the market. Directly under the cam action latches, we have the metal accessory mounting strips. Now, there's 2 in the front, 2 in the back, 1 on each side for a total of 6. Each one of them comes standard with the bottle opener at the top right here. On the front side of the cooler, we have these padlock tabs for additional security. Now, we'll be offering a variety of accessories in the near future, such as wireless Bluetooth speaker, solar-powered battery pack, wireless USB charging ports, as well as tote bags and other miscellaneous items. So look for these offers soon. So as you might have noticed, the ZUBI Coolers raise a total of 1 inch on each corner of the cooler and 2 inches in the middle. And this helps in preventing any heat transferring from whatever surface the cooler might be resting upon. Now, each corner comes with reversible slip and non-slip feet. All you would have to do is remove the 2 screws within each of the feet and flip it, depending on what your preference is, if you want to slide the cooler or if you want it to stay stationary. Let's take a look at the drain plug. If we turn the cooler to its side, we see here an oversized drain plug. This is a 1-inch thick compression fit seal with no threading required. You just push it in, the seal expands deep within the cooler's cavity, eliminating any thermal or water leakage and allowing for, let me demonstrate. Just untwist, not too much, because there's no threading, remember? Then you just pull it out, and here we have the 1-inch thick rubber seal that expands deep within the cavity. You just push it back in like so, and there you go, you're good to go. So on either side of the cooler here, we have 2 ergonomically designed handles that make for a comfortable grip when carrying the cooler. On either side of the handles, we have 2 additional locking stations. If you want to secure your cooler in place, it's a breeze. All it requires is a long shank lock. Just drop it in. Boom, that easy. Now these locking stations will also function as additional mounting points for a variety of items we'll be offering in the near future, such as picnic table, cutting board, as well as rope handles for even more comfortable grip. If we go to the back of the cooler, you'll see what comes standard in every ZUBI cooler is a 21-inch fishing scale to measure whatever catch of the day you might have got. Hopefully it was a good day.
As my brother Sharaz so graciously and kindly explained the exterior features of the ZUBI Cooler, I'm gonna take the liberty to go ahead and explain the interior features of the cooler. So let's get to it. Let's go ahead and open these cam action latches with the ease of my pinky. These things make it so easy. My grandmother could open it. Smooth and efficient. Raise the lid up, and what do we have here? A beautiful and bold ZUBI Cooler logo. I'm sure right off the bat you noticed. We have a triple staggered refrigeration style one-piece seal along the whole lid of the cooler. What that's essentially going to do is mitigate any thermal leakage and increase your cooling capacity. If you were to tip this cooler over, no water would leak out, which essentially means no hot air is leaking in. Your ice is lasting longer, your food and beverages are staying colder longer, and that means you have more time with your family and friends to do the things that you love. What I'd like to discuss with you now is the heart and soul of every ZUBI cooler. What I'd like to turn your attention to now is the 50/80 on the front of the cooler. Now you might ask yourself, why is there two numbers there? 50/80. Well, that's actually because every ZUBI cooler is two sizes in one cooler. The 50/80 is in terms of liters. So actually it's 53 quart/85 quart. You're wondering and might ask yourself another question. How do we have two sizes in one cooler? Well, that's the secret sauce. Actually, the ZUBI Cooler has a completely separate cavity for the ice. How did we do that? Let me go ahead and open these cam action latches with the ease of my pinky to illustrate and highlight that for you. The separate ice cavity is surrounded by the external walls of the cooler. The external walls contain a high pressure injected polyurethane foam. In the walls of the cooler, it's up to 2.5 inches. In the lid of the cooler, up to 3 inches. And in the bottom of the cooler, up to 4 inches. That's opposed to the industry leader, which actually only does 2 inches of foam all around top and bottom. By having more extra foam and a separate ice cavity, we're actually prolonging the life of the ice. This cavity is surrounded by one of the refrigeration style one-piece seals. The ice residing in the separate cavity is going to mitigate any thermal leakage that may occur, so no cold air or water is leaking out and no hot air is leaking in. Again, prolonging the life of that ice. Let me show you how to load the ZUBI Cooler. You go ahead and take the tab, lift up, and place it to the side. It's an easy soft rubber, so there's no force needed. That's going to go ahead and reveal the ice filler port. Now, there's 2 ice filler ports in the front, 2 in the back, and 1 on each side. So that makes it easy and accessible for you to get ice into that separate ice cavity way quicker. The ice surrounds the always dry food and beverage cavity on all 4 walls and the bottom. Now, you heard me mention always dry food and beverage cavity. Well, that would go hand in hand with the ice cavity being separate. Because we're able to have a separate ice storage cavity in a 45 quart cooler in the competition, they can only fit 32 12-ounce cans of soda. In the ZUBI Cooler, through our benchmark testing, we're actually able to fit 96 12-ounce cans of soda. That's triple the amount. So you could only imagine with food as well, you're able to actually maximize the space that's utilized here. Because the ice also resides in that separate cavity, your food is not going to get spoiled by any melted ice and water. That means less trips to the store, less mileage on your car, less gas wasted, and above all else, less time wasted. You could use that time spent wisely with your friends and family doing the activities that you love, whether it be hunting, camping, fishing, hiking, you name it. Whatever you need to do, the ZUBI Cooler will help you utilize that time properly. Now, the ZUBI Cooler isn't just a cooler. It can actually turn into a hot box as well. Who's to say you couldn't just fill the ice filler ports up with hot water? So now they become hot water ports. That means during wintertime, You're able to utilize it for activities such as hunting, ice fishing, or winter camping, excuse me. That's opposed to it just sitting in your garage, collecting dust, and taking up valuable space that you could be using for other things in your household. If the water tends to get cold, you can just go ahead and get some hot packs from us that we will be offering, and that will go ahead and reheat that separate hot water cavity now. Above else, the ZUBI Cooler is here to be utilized by you. Maximum efficiency for optimum utilization. So now standard on every ZUBI Cooler is actually not one, but 2 digital thermometer gauges. The 2 digital thermometer gauges are because 2 sizes in every one ZUBI Cooler. The digital thermometer gauge on the front is actually for the separate ice cavity. It's going to measure the thermal capacity of that ice within that cavity. You could go ahead and remove the ice filler port, see how much liquid is there. If you need to drain any out and add ice, you can do so. The digital thermometer gauge in the lid is actually to measure the cooling capacity of the always dry food and beverage cavity. That's going to let you know how cold your food and beverages are staying, whether they're going to spoil or not, which with the ZUBI Cooler is never going to happen. And if you need to go ahead and fill it back up with ice, you can. Your food is always going to stay fresh. Your drinks are always going to stay cold. Here at ZUBI Coolers, your safety is our top priority. Where other cooler companies would charge you an extravagant fee for any type of finger or hand protection, ZUBI Cooler offers it standard with every cooler. So let me go ahead and demonstrate how this works. I'm going to simply rotate the cooler, and we take the latches on the cam action latches and place them in the upward position every time the cooler lid is open. So, oh, would you look at that? Complete safety. Did you hear me scream? Did you hear or see any type of illustration of pain on my face? I didn't think so. That's because with the anti-crush devices, your hands and fingers are completely protected. That's our guarantee. In the lid of the cooler, we also have this automatic, rechargeable, and removable photo sensing light. So that means in any dark situation, you'll still be able to tell what the contents of your cooler are. One comes standard with any purchase of the ZUBI Cooler. You can go ahead and purchase more at your leisure to go ahead and stack around the lid for however much luminosity you'd like to bring to the ZUBI Cooler. Either way, it's going to be bright.
For the last 5 years, we've given it all we've got. We spent a significant amount of time, resources, and money from our pockets to bring you a polished product.
Through 3 production cycles, we're able to identify some minor improvements and make the correct changes with the cooler. We've frozen our final production design, and as we speak, we have a small production run going with full shipping container loads already on the way. The money allocated from you, our backers, will go towards tooling and dies, as well as creating new sizes for the cooler and scaling up production so that we can populate our supply chain.
Thank you for taking interest. We hope to have each other's backs.
We thank you humbly.